What's going on? This is the Body Punch Podcast. My name is Naz. If you could run down a list of fighters that needed to fight, I think Tyron Woodley and Colby Covington would be at the top of that list. These are two fighters that have been jawing at each other for years now. When Tyron Woodley had the belt, you always saw Colby Covington attacking him on social media, at events, everywhere they went. Colby Covington and Tyron Woodley would be jawing at each other. Both of them saying that they're ducking each other. Both of them saying that they don't want to fight each other. They're too scared. And guess what? This fight is coming this weekend. On September 19th, Tyron Woodley and Colby Covington grace the octagon for what is being deemed one of the greatest UFC fight nights ever. This is one of the most stacked UFC fight nights, a non-pay-per-view card that I've ever seen. We got Mackenzie Dern on this fight. On this card, we got Johnny Walker, Khamzat Chimaev. We got Donald Cerrone, Nico Price. And all of that is rounded off by Colby Covington and Tyron Woodley. Both of these fighters have different styles, but have that base of wrestling. Colby Covington having that cardio-based style. Whatever you see him do in the first round, it's the exact same thing you'll get out of him in the fifth. Throwing punches to both the body and the head and not caring. He's throwing punches everywhere. They're not extremely powerful shots, but the amount of shots is just confusing to most of his opponents. Tyron Woodley having that powerful base. At the beginning of Tyron Woodley's career, he was known to gas out. Now, in the later stage of his career, he's well known for knocking the lights out. He's got devastating power. And he's built like something you would see in a superhero movie. But both fighters have that wrestling background. And we've seen it before. Colby using it to get you against the cage, to really hit you with those body shots. Tyron Woodley using it to stay on the feet. He uses it to take away the opponent's ability to change levels. But we all know that this fight is going to produce fireworks. Both of these fighters are in two different stages of their career. Tyron Woodley being the champion, losing his belt, and unfortunately, it seems like he's having an issue with throwing those hands that produce that devastating power. We've seen a lot of Tyron Woodley's fights starting and ending with him backing up. We saw this in the Gilbert Burns fight. With Colby Covington, the last time we saw him in the cage was against Usman. where it was a really close fight. Super close fight. But at the end of the day, he still lost. In the fight between Usman and Colby Covington, in my opinion, both of them were dead even in that fight. It seemed like they were going almost blow for blow. But the difference maker is that even though both of them did the same thing in terms of their strategy is very similar if you think about it. Heavy in their cardio, not worrying about hitting you with body shots or head shots, and getting you up against that cage and hitting you with those uppercuts. Their game plans are very similar in that way. But the difference maker between Colby Covington and Usman was in Usman's power. Usman just had a little bit more power in his shots. Colby Covington breaking his jaw in that fight kind of shows you the amount of power that you're dealing with Usman. With both Usman and Colby Covington, like I said before, you're not just worried about the power of these shots, you're worried about the amount of shots that you're going to take. Colby Covington, his record currently is 15 wins, 2 losses. Tyron Woodley, 19 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw. Both of them almost the same height, with Colby being 5'11" and Tyron Woodley being 5'9". The reach is only a 2-inch reach disadvantage, and that goes for Tyron Woodley. He has a 74-inch reach advantage. And if we look at the numbers here, this goes exactly with what I was saying before. When it comes to Colby Covington, it's more about the punches and bunches that he throws. He's going for that TKO finish. He's trying to overwhelm you. We see a slight knockout win ratio. We see a higher percentage of knockouts from Tyron Woodley, just like I was saying. The submissions percentage is even at 27% for Colby Covington and 26% for Tyron Woodley. And where I see the difference, or what the story of this fight could be, I see it going 2 ways. Is Tyron Woodley going to be able to throw those devastating punches? And will he be able to get them off? Because of the amount of punches that Colby Covington throws, will Tyron Woodley have the ability to sneak in one of those devastating shots? That's where the fight will be won or lost, in my opinion. When it comes to going on the ground and all that kind of stuff, takedowns, I think they're almost even. It's all about if Tyron Woodley can get off his shots, and it's all about if Colby Covington cannot let that happen. Because we all know that if Tyron Woodley is able to hit you with one of those punches, one of those punches that send your head to the moon, then it's all over. If we look at the past fights for Colby Covington, this whole Colby Covington craze, in my opinion, started after the Damian Maia win. Then he went to go beat Dos Anjos. Then he went to go beat Robbie Lawler. And then he lost to Usman. By the way, while I'm saying all of these names, it's so hard for me to not say the names that Colby Covington has given them, those nicknames. But anyways, between all of these fights, if you look at them, he fought Dos Anjos in 2018. He fought Lawler in 2019. And then he fought Usman in 2019 as well. Between each one of those fights, there have always been some sort of issue between Colby Covington and the UFC. He's always had some sort of issue with them. And between each one of those fights, he's always been super vocal in social media, sometimes talking to the President of the United States. In some way, he's always been present in the social media landscape. But in the last couple of weeks, if you've noticed, Colby Covington has kind of been silenced. I don't know if this is due to the fact that Colby Covington knows he has to win this fight because of the amount of trash talk that he's said to Tyron Woodley. He might be feeling the pressure at this moment, or it just might be that we're going to see a different Colby Covington here. He might be training in a different way. And in some respects, we know that he's training in a different way because he's switched gyms. He's been such a Dan Lambert fan. He calls him out after every single fight, giving his respects. And for him to leave that camp and to train with someone totally different has got to put something in the back of your head. Who knows if this silence is due to either one of those reasons, but it's different. And it's something that we can note. Something that we can put in the back of our heads, that here's a difference between this fight and his past fights. If we look at Tyron Woodley's last couple fights, we all remember the two fights that Woodley fought against Thompson. Great fights. A lot of fans didn't like him, but in my opinion, just like Joe Rogan is saying, it gave us, in the moment, it showed us a lot of possibilities. Those two fights took a lot out of Tyron, I think. Then he fought Maia, who he won against, where he showed a different side of him. Very tactical. He was showing that veteran savvy on keeping his reserve tank fully loaded. Not wasting all of his energy in the first round. Knowing that it's going to be a 5-round fight. He went those 5 rounds with Damian Maia. And he didn't press on the gas pedal too hard. He was smart when it comes to this fight. He's smart in all of his fights, actually, in the later half of his career. Knowing not to use all of his energy. Then he won by submission against Darren Till. That was a great fight. I think that Till, in that moment, was pushed very far for the amount of cage time that he's had. He's had a lot of striking experience, but the amount of cage time that he had, he's pushed really far, really fast. Then, after that fight, we saw Woodley lose the belt to Usman. Usman put it on Tyron Woodley. It was crazy to see. For a person who's had the belt for the amount of time that Tyron Woodley has had it, it's weird to see him getting beaten that badly. He got the brakes beaten off of him. And this goes to my point that I've been reiterating in this podcast, that Tyron Woodley wasn't able to get the flow going. Now, Tyron Woodley, like I said, doesn't really push the pedal to the metal because he knows he needs to have energy in the latter rounds. But there's a flow that comes with that. You still need to be able to throw those punches. You still need the other person to respect what you bring to the game. In all sports, like basketball, for example, if you are doing a bunch of pump fakes and not hitting any threes, the defense is not going to respect you as much. If you're Tyron Woodley and standing there and backing up and taking all of those body shots that Usman was throwing at you, Usman's not going to respect you as much. He's just going to go in there, now respect the distance, and get into that sweet spot, which is the pocket, and do what he does best, which is hit those close quarter punches in bunches to the body and the head. After that fight, we saw Usman, we saw Woodley show exactly what he showed us in the Usman fight. Woodley got beaten bad by Gilbert Burns, who showed off his striking capability. Gilbert Burns being well known for his grappling ability, but really beat the brakes off of Tyron Woodley again. Again, it was very weird to see Tyron Woodley stand there and not really know what he's thinking in terms of, you couldn't see the gears moving in his head. He's kind of standing there. He wasn't throwing those punches that he's so well known for. And this is with all due respect to Tyron Woodley. I'm only saying this because I know the capabilities that he possesses. Tyron Woodley being so well known for his knockout ability and being so smart in the cage with his use when it comes to his cardio use, being that smart of a fighter and not showing us why he's so well known, what he's so well known for. That's why I think this fight is great for Tyron Woodley. He's going up against the fighters. He's going up against a fighter that is very similar to the past two fights that he's had. Colby Covington is going to throw punches and bunches in close quarters and keep walking you down. This is not a guy that's going to back up. For all the mess that Colby Covington talks online, for all the trash talk that he does, he's able to back it up. This is a scary man that Tyron Woodley's fighting. And this goes the same for Colby Covington. Colby Covington cannot relax when it comes to this fight. And I believe that's what he's doing with going on this social media blackout. Colby Covington is showing us that he's taking this seriously. If Tyron Woodley comes back to form, It's going to be a super tough night for Colby Covington. You're talking about a guy that has devastating power, amazing athletic ability, and having the grappling capability that could nullify what you are great at. This is going to be a great fight. I can't wait for it. And like I said, this is one of those grudge matches that just needed to be finished. We need to figure out what's going to happen. Now, one of the last points that I'm going to bring up here, like I said at the top of the show, this fight is one of the craziest fights not to be on pay-per-view. And we're seeing all the hype videos for Adesanya and Costa. But where are all the crazy promo packages for this? I should be seeing advertisements for this fight all the time. Even on social media, I don't see as much hype for this card as Adesanya and Costa. I know that has title implications, but this fight has been in the making for a long time. And we got a bunch of great fights on this card. I'll just name them off again. You got Donald Cerrone versus Nico Price, which is going to be a crazy fight. You got Khamzat Chimaev, which, you know, he's on a roll right now. Got Johnny Walker coming back. We got Mackenzie Dern. It's not just because this is a fight night that there isn't much hype for it. This should have a crazy amount of hype. This is one of those low-key cards, maybe. This is one of those cards that not many people talk about, and you're going to be the one watching it and acting like you and your buddies are the only ones seeing this. It's going to be like a secret. You know, hopefully everybody can make it to the fight. We've seen a lot of weird stuff going on these days, people getting COVID and whatnot. But this is one of those fights that you just got to watch. There's going to be a lot of emotions in it. This is also one of those weeks that you got to watch all of the weigh-ins. You got to watch the press conferences or interviews and whatnot that they do. This is one of those fight cards that you got to watch everything. Because there's a lot of built-up emotion when it comes to these two. And who knows what Colby Covington is going to come up with. He always has some sort of gimmick whenever he fights. And this is one of those fights that he's always wanted. For either one of them, with Colby being number 2 in the division and Woodley being number 5, either one of them, this could mean getting a giant fight after this, or maybe even fighting for the belt. Because both of them fought Usman. Tyron Woodley fought Gilbert Burns. So, I mean, this could be a redemption. But they're in a Shark Tank as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they get jumped over by anybody else. But this could have real implications when it comes to the future. Maybe this fight or one other fight. It can't go more than 2. This is a massive card. It's going to be fun. Fun stuff, like I've been saying. A lot of built up emotions. It's great that I can talk about this. I appreciate you guys taking the time. It means a lot. If you guys could please like, subscribe, 5 stars, do all the stuff on the different platforms, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you guys for listening. This has been the Body Punch Podcast. My name is Naz. Bye.